Hello and welcome once again to another edition of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, the Mouth of Michigan, Robin Dyke. With me, as always, the Merc Zone, Mike Merkel.
I'm right here.
Conspicuous by her absence, the brain Emily Merkel is out sick today. We wish her the best, but we're going to jump right into it. Once again, guys, I want to remind everybody that we have now partnered with Stitcher and TuneIn Radio. So if that is your preferred method of streaming, we are officially on there. So be sure to subscribe, download every new episode, and make sure you don't miss a thing. All right, we have so much to go over today. MLB free agency freezes, the Kylar Murray decision. We've got the Lions member summit. We got the Cleveland Browns signing Kareem Hunt, ? All Elite Wrestling second press conference, and maybe some other things too. I don't know. Maybe we'll go a little surprises here. All right, let's start right off at the top though. We're gonna go MLB free agency. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, and the biggest news coming out of it was that nobody signed. Yeah. Update, nobody signed still, right? You've got guys like Manny Machado, Bryce Harper, Dallas Keuchel. You've got so many great superstars, true superstars, that are still sitting out there. And I think the reason why it's so important for us to bring this back up again is because now we've got other star players, Justin Verlander, Clayton Kershaw, Chris Sale, some big-name pitchers on big-name organizations coming out and saying, this is wrong. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad for the game. They're saying that these guys can help major league teams right now win games and be an asset, and yet they're still sitting out there. And my question to you, Mike, I understand if you're a player, you're totally going to go this route, right? And it happens that all these guys have already gotten paid, so it's easy for them to say it after the fact. But do you agree with this? Does this hurt the game of baseball that some of the biggest names that have ever hit free agents, like Bryce Harper, has been talked about since he was 17. Yeah. These guys are still out here in free agency. No one's coming near them, and no one's coming near the money that they want. Does this hurt the game long term?
It definitely does. You see in other sports where the big name guys, the big attraction guys, they get hurt or they're not there, and everything, like the whole league just kind of falls apart almost until they come back. Obviously, Bryce Harper and Manny Machado are two of the biggest names out there, and they're free agents right now.
Yep.
So, it hurts them, but I've also said this where I think they're also in a thing where baseball is you're either very good or you're kind of like the Tigers where you're just kind of out of it.
Yeah, right. And that we talked about that before. Yeah. It's either you're climbing towards the World Series or you're not, and you're tearing it all down.
Exactly.
And you're going to start that climb all over again.
And when you look at it, you have, say, 8 teams that are up there trying to go win it, and then you have the bottom, 22 teams you're looking at that are kind of rebuilding almost.
Right.
And when you look at that as a rebuilding franchise, I would say that I wouldn't want to really go get someone like Bryce Harper, even though they can get you some wins and stuff, but you're kind of you're not there yet, and it's going to be 5 years until you're there anyway.
Yep.
If we were say the Tigers right now, I don't know if I would even go get Bryce Harper because I'm nowhere close to winning, and that one player couldn't help me win.
Right.
So I see it from their point of view, but I find it very odd that all these big name guys haven't found anywhere to go.
Well, and that's the thing too, and that kind of brings me to my second question for you: is did the Major League Baseball do this to themselves? And here's why I say this. You make a great point, right? It's either you're going up and you're trying to win a championship, or you're not. The window's passed and you're deconstructing. Yeah. The problem is that if you are a team who is deconstructing, right? You're trying to shed cap. You're trying to shed these dead weight players. You're trying to get people off of it so you're not good, basically. You're tanking on purpose. But Major League Baseball, but half the reason why you're in the situation is because you did exactly what Major League Baseball wants you to do, and that is you paid for these guys, right? You went out and paid Miguel Cabrera $300 million, and he hasn't been healthy since. You went out and paid Jordan Zimmerman $180 million. So you went out and paid these guys, and you didn't win because of it. You're just as bad, and now you're stuck with these contracts. So I think that too many times Major League clubs have been bitten by signing these aging guys, these veterans that they think they're still in a window to win, and it doesn't happen, and it's happened now too often where it goes, if you're the Yankees, you're already paying Giancarlo Stanton a ton of money,
oh my God,
right? So you're paying that guy, and you're like, okay, we're close.
Yep.
We don't really see the need necessarily to go get a Bryce Harper. If you're Boston, You're already paying David Price. You're paying Chris Sale. You're paying these guys already. I don't see, and you just won a World Series.
Yeah.
So there is no pressure for you whatsoever to go and go get another guy in there. You paid JD Martinez late in free agency, right?
Yeah.
So my question is, did baseball do this to themselves? Because for a while there, the money was flowing, right?
Yeah.
MLB free agency was the hottest thing, but now it's just, no, you take that contract. No, you take that contract because I'm not in a position to win, so these guys don't help me anymore.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. And, I mean, that's just how baseball is, really.
Right, exactly.
What you can say about it.
And there's so much depth now, and some of the younger guys, I think that's why the Yankees are in a unique situation, because they've had some of the younger guys come up, like Gary Sanchez has played really well.
Yeah.
So they have guys that have kind of taken roles that they're not paying, for a long period of time. And I think that teams now, and you can maybe disagree with me on this, but I feel like teams are now trying to undo what they were doing before. Where before, the Tigers, for instance, are a great example of this. They traded prospect over prospect over prospect just to go get another guy, right? To go get a guy with some star power. They would trade away everything that they had for the now, and it didn't work. Yeah. Right? So now what you see, and especially here locally in Detroit, is you see the Tigers going, no, you can take everybody. Take anybody with any sort of value. We're gonna hold these picks. And I think where this kind of tilted that way is when the Cubs won the World Series. Mm-hmm. Because the Cubs, what they had so many stockpiled prospects that were top 100, top 200 prospects, and they came out and they played. Mm-hmm. And they were good. Right? Yes. And they won a World Series, and they were very selective and went, okay, we're going to go get Hayward. We're going to go get John Lester, right? Yeah. Very specific pieces to put them over the top to win that championship, rather than, okay, I'm going to pay for all these free agents and hope to God that my Mod Podge of people gets us the victory.
Yeah, let's throw this out there. A very good comparison to this is the movie The Moneyball.
Right,
that's exactly what's going on right now.
That's exactly it.
You have all these franchises that don't have the money, or not even they don't have the money, but don't have the resource and everything to want to go get a Bryce Harper. So now you have to go, okay, so I need a closer that can throw these 3 pitches and they can get us out of the 9th inning.
Right.
Let's go find that guy and let's pay him as little as we can.
Right.
And that's exactly what all these lower teams are doing.
And it's all analytics. That's what baseball's going to.
That's all it is. Yep. And I think that is a big problem that they're going to have long term.
Now here's something too that we kind of have to throw into this equation too, is that does baseball, would some of this problem be resolved with how baseball hands out contracts, right? The NFL has long been criticized for the way they do contracts for the longest time. They finally changed the rookie scale. But baseball is unique in the sense that once you sign that contract, you get that money. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just kind of a thing. So you sign for $300 million, you're getting $300 million.
No matter what.
No matter what. You can never play another inning. It doesn't matter. So does baseball need to change and go to a more NFL-style role? Because you have teams like the Angels who are paying Albert Pujols still $30 million. Albert Pujols is not Albert Pujols anymore. You know what I mean? It's just not a thing. So I think that maybe by changing where there's still high guaranteed money in the contract, maybe there's some offset language for a team to, with team options, with player options and stuff to kind of go, all right, this is clearly not working. There needs to be a way for a team to get from out of the hole.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
to make them more willing to spend the money, and you know what I mean, and have that fail safe.
I don't even know. Does baseball have team incentives, if you hit a certain amount?
I'm sure there's incentive based, but once again, though, the contract is the contract, right? So there's
because in football, if you make it a certain point, or if you're a quarterback and you throw a certain amount of yards,
right? There's a kicker that comes. Okay, $500,000.
You're you're getting X amount of money for that. Does baseball you get 100 hits? Do you get this?
I'm sure there could be, but I think that the way that they're doing it right now clearly is not working anymore, right? This is now the second off season where we're seeing a total freeze. I mean, spring training is right around the corner. It's already started to happen in some places. So, it's right there. Opening day is 39 days away or something crazy for the Tigers. So, and you've got guys that are still out there that are, I'm sure they're in shape and everything, but they're not with their new ball clubs. And I know there's, and I don't blame the players necessarily. You have a very short window. You need to go make as much money as you can. I will never criticize a player for going to try and make as much money as possible. But at the same time, you're getting to a point now where your demands, Bryce Harper, for $300+ million are now hindering your ability to make any money at all. You know what I mean? So, and he already turned down a deal from the Nationals originally for around $300 million. Said that wasn't enough. So it's like,
well, and then when you look at that, you're like, all right, we'll give you that $300 million, and then Bryce Harper goes, wait, if you're gonna give me that, could you just give me like $320 or something?
Right, exactly.
And that's when the negotiating. Then you're like, well, I don't want to give you that much.
Right.
And that's really negotiation.
Yeah, and if you don't really want to be there in the first place, you sure have an incentive anyway.
Yeah.
There's so many things that go into it, but I do think that baseball, this is going to be a yearn for change for the whole sport, because if this continues to happen, and when those dominoes finally do drop and these guys do sign, I'll be very interested to see what those contract details are, because honestly, I don't think they're going to get paid what they want to get paid. I mean, you have two 26-year-old guys in the primes of their careers who can't get signed right now because they want to get that 8, 9, 10-year contract worth $350, $400 million. It's just so much money to invest in a player that those last 4 years of that contract may not
Especially
be...
how baseball goes, and after, like, say you sign a 10-year contract, like Miggy signed like an 8-year contract, and after 4 years you go into a rebuild phase, then you're just kind of stuck there with these three stars.
With this albatross contract that you can't move, and you have a declining player, and you're stuck. Right? You're going to cut him? What is that going to do for you? You're still paying the guy, but you can't trade him because nobody wants the deal. So you're just kind of stuck throwing him out there and saying, hopefully, there's an upswing at one point, right? And that's kind of where baseball's at. All right, shifting now a little bit from the baseball talk, we're going to talk Kylar Murray. He came out this past week, or his agent, or whoever made that nice little post. He's choosing the NFL. He's choosing to be an NFL quarterback over a Major League Baseball player. Obviously, as we know, Kyler was drafted in the first round by the Oakland Athletics. Got a guaranteed $5 million contract. We'll hit on the contract here in a second. But Mike, I'm going to ask you just straight up. He thinks he can be an NFL quarterback. I'm assuming, based off of talks he's had, he's probably thinking he's a first-round pick, as high as probably top 10.
Yeah.
Maybe if something weird happens on draft night, like it always does, maybe top 5. Was it the right move for him to go to the NFL?
I think it's a good move to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
It's very, it's very hard. It's a very close call, I would say. I don't think there was a wrong move, really. Yeah. I mean, going either the MLB and getting that, $5 million contract that he would probably have gotten. Right. Or, going, assumably, the top 10, top 15 in the NFL draft. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be that good of a NFL quarterback, though.
Really?
I mean, that's when you compare him at Oklahoma to like Baker Mayfield, and you see what Baker Mayfield's doing right now, and you're like, well, Kyler Murray had better numbers in college, so, but I don't know if his game translates to the pros. I think Baker was able to stop the comparisons. Baker was able to transform his game a little bit. Now he's more of like a pocket passer, run if he needs to, but he can throw the ball. Right. I don't know if you're going to see the same thing out of Kyler, as like he can just sit there and start throwing dots to people. Right. I don't see that from him.
Right. And as many of you may or may not know this, but our own Mike Merkel here was a former quarterback, so he knows a little bit more about the quarterback position than say some of us here listening. But I agree with you. I think that the jump to being, and especially drafted that high, you're probably expected to play right away. Yes. Right. I want to go over here, just go over the money aspect of it, because so let's just, this is from SpotTrack.com, so if they have their numbers wrong, don't kill me. But so Kyler Murray signed about a $5 million contract with the Oakland Athletics as a first-round pick, right? He's going to have to then go through single, double, triple A. He's going to go through years of arbitration before he can finally hit a major payday, right? And now let's not kid ourselves. It's not all about the money, right? There has to be some passion involved, but at some point it's got to be about the money too. So let's just say if he was picked first overall, something weird happened, Arizona, Cliff Kingsbury, that whole organization's a mess. They go first overall. They quit the Josh Rosen experience. Number 1 overall, he's expected to get a contract of 4 years with a 5th-year team option of $34 million, $23 million signing bonus as estimated. That's all guaranteed. On the rookie scale, it's guaranteed, done. You sign it. It's spread out over the 4 or 5 years of that contract, and it's there, right? So you're already making $23 million the day you get drafted and sign your contract. So you're making, what, $18 million more?
Yeah, already.
And you haven't done anything. You haven't played a snap, right? Let's say he goes 10th, right, which is more accurate. Yeah. $18 million, the life of the contract, $11 million signing bonus. So he just doubled up his guarantee, right? And he's already in the show, too. He's not playing in minor league ball. He's already playing in the NFL. He's not playing in the AAF. He's not playing in the XFL. He's playing right then and there. He's on Sundays. He's throwing picks to Darius Slay on Sundays. Okay? It's what's happening. Let's say he has the Lamar Jackson effect, and he drops all the way down to, say, 32, right? 32, value of the contract, around $10 million, and a $5 million signing bonus, okay? So that's where he'd be at, okay? So he'd have to basically almost fall out of the first round to not get an immediate, and that's just signing bonus. The full life of the contract is still double. So, and I know second round picks is like about $3 million difference between the first pick and the second round compared to the, but point being, monetarily, if he thinks and he and he's going to play, he's going to go at the combine, I'm assuming, and he's going to show out. I'm sure he's going to test off the charts. Being able to get drafted that high and make that money, I find it hard to pass up that opportunity if you're him and you think that you have a chance to go in the first round.
I agree with that, and I just don't see him. I get from the money
I don't necessarily see him succeeding, but if I'm him and I go, okay, if I have a chance to make 23 or if I have a chance to make $20 million like that, I'm going to go for it.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, you could say long term in baseball if you think you're good enough and you can make it to long term, and so then when you're like 25, 26 and you're in a position of, not like Bryce Harper, because I doubt that would be it. Right. But like somewhere like up there where you can make a $200 million contract over 5 years or something, then that's when you would exceed NFL. But at least initially, I would personally go to the NFL. I think.
Well, and that's the thing too, and obviously injuries plays a part of it. But if you're a quarterback and you can get drafted and you play at such a premium position, it'd be different if he was like a corner or if he was a linebacker or what have you, right? It kind of changes. Yeah. But the way baseball's structured with going through the minors and having so much service time before you can hit free agency, going through years of arbitration hearings just to make $1 million more here, $1 million here. I know it sounds like we're making fun of those numbers. It's a lot of money, yes, but as far as professional athletes go, it's not. So, take a chill. But point being is that you have so many years to get through and play at a high level if you're in Major League Baseball. Where football, you're kind of hoping, and you kind of, especially at a quarterback position, you're going to get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity until finally somebody goes, all right, clearly this is not working, right? So I think he's right to go. Would you if you were in the same position, would you go football?
I would definitely go football. Almost, I mean,
excuse me.
Me personally, I like football more than baseball, so as that fan. But Kyler's come out and said that he loves football more than baseball too. Right. So I think from that aspect too, if that would be just like me, I would go to play football too. Yeah. Especially if you're a top 10 pick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, and if you think you can play, right? He had the success in college, right? Now, I don't know. The jury's still out for me a little bit as whether or not he can play professionally, right? Yeah. I'm interested to see how Baker does this second season. Yeah. I'm really interested to see that development
I do think Kyler could have a good, first season. Mm-hmm. He could be a very explosive. But him and a big-name guy like Lamar Jackson, his second season, because I think if he has a bad... they all have similar playing styles. Yeah, right. And you saw, Baker never really played someone twice. Mm-hmm. He kind of played the Steelers twice a little bit, but he never really played a team twice. Right. When Lamar played the Chargers the first time, he blew him out of the water. Right. Then he played him in the playoffs the second time, he scored 3 points. Right. It's going to be interesting the second year when you play the Steelers 2 more times, the Ravens 2 more, and you play all these teams a few more times to see how they actually produce. Yes. But nonetheless, Kyler Murray... I would give him a couple years. Say Miami drafted him, they need a quarterback or something, and somehow they got him. I'd give him a year or two, and then you got to see at that point. But the player development is so huge, right? Yeah. And giving him the opportunity to kind of sit, learn under the coaching tree. I think, that's why when Miami I think Miami's a perfect place, especially if Adam Gase was still there. Now, Brian Flores being there, but those situations. Yeah, right. So I feel like you need somebody, maybe because Jim Caldwell there, maybe that is a great place for him to be, right? Is to sit, learn, absorb that knowledge. They go get a veteran, they go trade for Case Keenum or whoever is an overall average quarterback at best. They keep Tannehill for another year, whatever. Yeah. To give him an opportunity to develop, I think would be best for him. I'd also choose the NFL. The NFL, long term, I think if you think your career, the injury bug is so
apparent at all times. And for you to say you blow your knee out, all right, if I blow my knee out my third season in the NFL compared to my third season in baseball, I made a lot more money in the NFL than I did.
I guess you could argue those statistics, like probability wise.
Right. No doubt.
You're probably not
right. But one errant pitch hits me in the head and I'm dead.
Yeah.
So it's just
and then one helmet contact.
Right, exactly. And I'm eating, vegetables out of a straw for the rest of my life. It is what it is, and those are the inherent dangers. But the NFL, though, right now, if he thinks he can do it, all the power to him. But all right, guys, that's going to be it for part 1 of this episode. Stay tuned. We're going to be announcing a new partnership here with one of our local friends here in Michigan. Stay tuned for that, and we will be right back with part 2. Stick around. Hey guys, it's the Mouth of Michigan. Just reminding you guys once again that we are on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio. But I want to talk to you guys about a buddy of mine named Austin Heisler. He's starting his own clothing brand called Pursuit. He's got a drop starting March 1st, 2019. Please go ahead, check out the link in our bio here on our YouTube episode. Look him up on Facebook as well. It's called Pursuit Clothing. Give him a like, drop it, take a look at his YouTube videos, and be ready for this awesome clothing line dropping March 1st. Now here's part 2 of this week's episode. Okay, and welcome back to part 2 of this week's episode. Let's jump right in now. We're going to stay home here. We're going to be talking about the Lions Member Summit. Lions, basically, Bob Quinn, Rod Wood, defense coordinator Paul Pasqualoni, new OC Darrell Bevel, John Bonamago, the new special teams coordinator, all got to talk to the fans, kind of, what the offseason, where they're at in the offseason, what they're going to be looking at. Some interesting comments coming out of all 3 camps, really. I thought some of the big things, Bob Quinn was pretty transparent about their needs, right? And they allowed fans to actually ask them questions this year, which is a little bit different than normal, where Dan Miller kind of filters them out. They let them go up to the microphone and just ask, which I thought was kind of fun, in my opinion. Just overall, anything that shocked you coming out of any of their talks? There was some stuff about the draft that Bob Quinn made that was kind of noseworthy, which I hope you bring up, because if not, I will and shoot it down immediately. But Paul Pasqualoni said some things. There was some general consensus things that I think they all kind of said that we'll hit on here in a second. But just overall thoughts on what you read and what you saw.
Yeah, I think one thing that really shot out was Bob Quinn really kind of just, I wouldn't say played it safe, but he kind of toyed with the whole crowd almost, because his comment of we're not going to rule out any position, even quarterback, was really something that stuck out.
Of course. I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's headline.
Yeah, because when you're looking at probably about half the Lions are like, we don't want Stafford, half are probably about we want. It's probably a close 50-50, I would say, from at least what I hear. So I think he was really like, we're not gonna probably do anything with that unless we draft them really late. Yeah. We're not gonna use a first, second, or third round on a quarterback. Let me tell you.
And that's and you're right. It's just it's so ridiculous to me, because it's like, oh my gosh, they said that they take we're not gonna rule out any position to say, oh my gosh, they're drafting a quarterback at number 8.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to use that as oh, we're gonna draft a quarterback. It's fantastic. We're not gonna do it. He's just kind of
it hurts my brain.
Yeah, because he's really not ruling out anything. I think the only thing they actually probably ruled out early was a quarterback. Yeah. I think anything else you could look at.
They probably ruled out long snapper, because the mule's back, and they may go kicker though. They didn't say anything about the kickers, or Sam Martin might be in trouble as a punter. They may go punter first round and pull an Oakland Raider. You know what I mean? Come on, let's be realistic. Put our thinking caps on for a second here. Yeah. Let's read what he said. Number 1, and 2, he has no incentive to say they're not going to take anybody. If he came right out and said, I'm not taking Greedy Williams from LSU. Why? There's no reason whatsoever. It's all posturing, guys. Come on, let's really think about it. Let's come on, let's put some thought into it. I'm with you, same thing. One of the other things too that I noticed was kind of a general theme from everybody was the use of the word playmaker. Bob Quinn said it in his post-season press conference. They said it again several times with the coordinators as well as BQ himself. Playmakers on both sides of the ball, and I just think that, I know the Lions defense is one of the worst in the league at turnovers last year, and that's obviously due to lack of playmakers, because you don't have a solid second corner besides Slay. You know what I mean? You don't have playmakers all across the board. I mean, Galladay, yes, Marvin Jones when he's healthy, but he was out. You don't have that third guy, especially with Tate now gone. Kerryon got injured, so it's hard to kind of understand that. But the problem is that when you see some of this stuff and you see the word playmaker, what does that mean, right?
Yeah.
You see some of these guys. I hope, and this is just my opinion, but I really hope that means that the Lions are going to really go make a splash in free agency. Yeah. I feel like BQ has definitely got some things that he has planned. I think he's got some certain guys, like a Trey Flowers from New England. I know we'll be talking about him probably a ton when free agency starts, but there's certain positions, and I think this draft especially really lends itself well to the Lions' needs.
Yes.
And I anticipate a massive upgrade in the roster from year 1 to year 2 in the Matt Patricia experience.
I agree with that.
And obviously Darrell Bevell, this is his first real public comments to the fan base. Anything that you really took away from him? Anything that really he said that kind of stuck out to you? That's kind of like shocking, or okay.
Well, not even that, but we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
On how I thought that the next OC should be someone that should play to his strengths.
Yeah.
And then he literally came out. Let's see what the quote was, and he literally said, "Oh, we also asked Stafford to stretch, and he's going to do things that he's not used to or not really good at."
Right.
And then I kind of sat there, and was like, "Wow, that's a totally opposite direction of what I thought they were going to do."
Exactly.
Because you look at someone like Stafford, and you're like, "Let's throw the ball around, let's sling it around the field with 5 wides," and then now you're looking at it, and they're like, "Oh, we're probably going to do a lot of running the ball, a lot of play action, quick passes that he's not really." Good at reading the route combinations as well. Yeah. And so it's just like kind of, that one just kind of burst out. I was like, wow, that's a...
Right, and that's the thing, right? And he goes and he says, obviously we're going to put in things that Stafford does well, which is push the ball down the field, right? He's always been really good at that. His arm is fantastic. But like you said, stretch him, make him do things that maybe he's not the most comfortable with, or make him do things he's never done in his career. That was a refreshing take for me, not because I'm a Lions homer, which I am self-admitted I am, but for a guy to come out already and say, listen, we're going to put things in that everyone kind of expects us to put in, right? We're going to push the ball, we're going to take shots downfield. But also, what I take by him stretching Stafford is basically saying, okay, maybe there's going to be more mobility, right? Maybe some naked bootlegs, doing some of the things that maybe Russell Wilson does really well. Because Russell Wilson's not necessarily the fastest guy in the world, right? Stafford's clearly not the fastest, but he has been more mobile in years past than he has early in his career, right? Yeah. He's added that, so being able to get him moving, I think, out of the pocket maybe, and really trying to do some misdirection. I think those are some of the things that Bevell, I think, is really looking to implement here, and is going to hopefully bring not only necessarily put Kerryon, because he mentioned Kerryon Johnson too, and his ability to catch out of the backfield. Yeah. That, for me, is exciting, because that's a guy that you look at and you go, okay, he's a 3-down back, and you put him in 3rd and shorts or 3rd and longs, and he can able to run a route for you and make a play. That's invaluable, right? And putting the pieces that you have in place, what you have right now, as far as probably adding at least 2 more pieces to that's extremely exciting for me as a fan. I'm sure as you as well. Yeah. Just to kind of get excited a little bit, get a little more hype about what, you know what I mean? Yeah. But let's call your shot here just a little bit here. We're going to be doing so much draft talk in the next couple months, guys. So prepare yourselves accordingly. Get your notebooks ready to say we're wrong when the actual pick happens. But based off of what you heard from Bob Quinn, he mentioned tight end. He mentioned, as a severe need, right? That immediately, everyone's flagged. Oh my gosh, we're drafting a tight end. It's not like we're drafting a tight end number 8. Oh my gosh. But really, give me your top position. Say they don't address it in trade, or they do, but they're going to supplement it. What's your top position that you think that they're going to go? What you think they're going to, not what they need, but what you think they're going to go with.
Well, I would say, and I think it's hard to do this kind of talk before the free agent starts. Right. Because you kind of look, like, if we just took this roster right now and the draft was tomorrow, and what do you need? I would probably say they go edge rusher first. Or, I guess I could see them going corner first. I would say edge rusher first, though. Yeah. Only because I don't trust corners right out. And you have literally nobody at the edge rusher.
I like the pause.
I was gonna think of a name and then I literally couldn't think of one. So that's awesome. So we definitely need an edge rusher. So that's I think where they would go first. I don't like right out of college corners to the
Right.
NFL.
That's the biggest jump.
Yeah,
a lot of people say
it takes a long time. It takes a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Even took Slay like 3 or 4 years to
really get into his own.
Get into where he is now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't think they have 4 years to wait for
No,
somebody.
no.
I would say edge rusher, maybe. No, edge rusher.
Yeah,
I can't say. No, I was gonna go wide receiver.
Oh, I was gonna say if you're gonna say tight end, I'm gonna.
But I don't think there's a top like 10 wide receiver out there.
No, there's
anyway,
not.
so.
Not really. Not in my opinion. But I agree with you. I think edge rusher is a huge need. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go. To see if they could trade down. I know that's the thing. It's the common thing every year is for the Lions fans. That we got to trade down and accumulate more picks, but we're going to mess them up. So it's always like a weird dynamic with Lions fans. They always want them to trade down, but they never think they get the pick right. So it's like, then why do you want them to have more throws at the dartboard if they're just if they mess it up anyway? Yeah. Right. But I do think trading down, especially with the quarterback situation like it is in this year's draft, there's several. Kylar Murray, who we talked about in part 1 of the episode. Haskins, obviously. You've got some other guys who could possibly creep in because a lot of teams like that 5th-year option with quarterbacks and the first-round picks and how their contracts are set up. So I think that number 8, you're a little bit low enough to where a team in the mid-teens can try and trade up, like a Dolphins, like a Cincinnati, to come up and kind of grab one of those guys. Yeah. I think is a thing. But I think edge rusher, like you said, is probably the number 1 priority for them. Probably along then with probably then wide receiver, corner, and tight end. I think are the top 4 needs for this team.
But I think in a first-round draft,
I think
edge should be the first one.
Comes at a premium. It really does. It absolutely does. All right, guys. Let's shift now from the Lions, and we're gonna go broader here with the NFL. Probably the biggest signing. We're not gonna talk about the Joe Flacco trade to Denver because who cares? But I mean. Honestly, I mean, even Denver fans aren't excited. So, but you got the same quarterback twice. But the Kareem Hunt signing to the Cleveland Browns. Now, this brought a lot of attention, positive or negative. Say what you will about him. But Mike, I want 2 takes from you here. Give me your football head coach, GM brain, where you're like, okay, from a performance standpoint. And then also give me just you as a person and the backlash that you may receive from signing a guy like Kareem Hunt, right? Because there's 2 sides to this story, clearly. And Cleveland is ignoring one side completely, it seems like. So, I mean, they're the kind of team you think would probably wind up signing him. But give me your thoughts.
Well, performance, I don't think it's any question that you sign someone like him. I mean, he's a not generational talent, but he's definitely a top 5, maybe pushing top 10 running back in the league right now. And you're gonna go get him probably for a lot cheaper than
you got him for nothing.
Because no one else is gonna get him, and he wants a job. So you kind of just thank you for this high overall guy that no one else wants for some weird reason. Mm-hmm. So from a GM or coach perspective, I think it's a fantastic move. You really just snatched a guy for cheap. From the moral standpoint, I guess, what he did wasn't great. However, I think it's something that you can't really, look past it.
Right.
But I think it's something that, I think he does deserve the second chance.
Okay.
You can't just say, oh, he doesn't deserve a second chance for what he did.
Right.
So...
Now, that's an interesting question because I know a lot of people will say, okay, where does the line go, right? Obviously, the NFL... I don't know if this is necessarily a defining statement or not. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the winning trumps everything at the end of the day in the NFL. So,
absolutely. I
mean, if it pans out for Cleveland, good for them. But at the same time, is this the last nail in the coffin? The Colin Kaepernick situation we'll talk on next week. But as far as yes, he did this, right? He's been convicted.
Yes.
He's been charged, what have you. And it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
No, if it was almost any other profession, I would say he doesn't get another job and he's kind of screwed over. Mm-hmm. But when you're in sports, that's something you just kind of if you're not banned or suspended, kind of like a Ray Rice situation, where you're just you can never play ever again kind of thing, then that's obviously different. But when you're just you can play again and stuff, as a team, you just kind of go, okay, thank you.
Right. And that's the thing. The Ray Rice thing didn't happen until later. So I mean, theoretically, somebody could have signed Ray Rice, but put to your point, right? Ray Rice was ineffective at that point in his career.
Exactly.
Right? When the video came out, he had his worst year as a pro.
Yeah.
So it's okay, diminishing skills. and this.
Yeah.
All right, now there's no positive.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you
all
this. If Ray Rice came out and he had like a 2,000-year season,
Yeah,
and then that video comes out,
Right.
and then like all these teams are like, I still want him if he's
Right.
still in prime time, but he's
Exactly.
diminishing.
Yeah, and
so
that's the
fine.
thing, right? And I think it's not right, okay?
No.
It's not necessarily correct. It's not morally correct. But at the end of the day, the NFL is not real, okay? It's not. It's like a whole separate world in itself, right? Where it's like everything that happens within the NFL is like not real in what we would call our world.
You kind of like
right?
walk into like a vortex. It's like
kind of, right?
different.
You walk into a building and you just feel different, right? Like it's just
and then like you leave and then you leave to the outside world kind of thing.
Yes.
Like it's not like you're not always in the real world
Right.
when you're playing football.
Exactly.
It's
Even like
weird.
you know, like I go to the Lions draft day party every year. You go to the Lions practice. You feel like you walk into something. You're just like, this is weird. Like you just feel like it's a thought, it's a feeling, it's it's whatever. But
yeah, you have no service in there, and it's like
Right.
you can't use Twitter or anything.
Exactly.
And you don't know what day it is,
But
and then you come out and you're like, wow, we lost.
And they're just full of automatic. Like you're like programmed to have automatic replies. Like
Yeah.
on emails. It's crazy. But all right, I gotta do this. I don't like doing this because I know the answer, and everyone's gonna, or at least you should know the answer. Let me put it this way. But there's been some other local here in the Metro Detroit area, local radio pundits who may disagree with this take here. But should the Lions have signed Kareem Hunt?
Well, actually, I'm gonna say no. But however, I don't think it would be an awful idea to sign Kareem Hunt.
Okay.
Because, I mean, you look at it, so you have Carry-On, who's your 3-down back.
Right.
I mean, having him and Kareem Hunt in a 1-2 punch
Wouldn't hurt.
would not hurt.
Wouldn't hurt.
Like, if you could get him for, okay, I'm just going to throw, like, say you got him for, like, $7 million a year.
He's making one. He got
He's
one.
making-
Million, you got a 1 year deal for like $1 million.
Oh, really?
That's his
That's
contract.
literally that's
Yeah,
it? Oh, I thought it was
contract.
a lot more than that.
No, that's
I mean, for something like that contract, though,
Yeah.
I'd buy him for that contract.
Right, yeah.
But, like, if you're paying him, like, a lot of money, then I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But if it's, like, literally, like,
Nothing.
then I'm like, I don't, like, it's a 1-2 punch kind of thing.
It's so hard because no, and to my answer, no, they shouldn't have signed Kareem Hunt. Not just because they have Carry On, but the Cleveland Browns think that they're ready to win, right? I think we can all kind of agree on that, right? They got their new head coach. They got they have Baker now. They won 7 games. It's more than 1 in 7 years. So, I mean, I agree with that. He is a great talent, right?
Yeah.
But the message that you send as an organization, the message that you send as a league by signing him again,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I'm not even going to get into the Kaepernick situation with the whole kneeling thing and where he didn't kick a woman, you know what I mean? He didn't punch somebody. So, and yeah, he got blackballed by the league, which once again, we'll talk about next week. But this guy's getting a second chance. I don't think Kareem Hunt necessarily is a terrible person. I never met the guy, so I'm not going to judge him from afar. But from a Lions perspective, not only just because you do have your already starter, but also just the amount of backlash. I mean, this team gets beat up so much as is. I don't really feel the need to, like, let's just throw another thing. Because it feels... Cleveland, when they sign him, it goes typical Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
If the Lions sign him, it's typical Lions, right?
Yeah.
If the Patriots sign him, it's... Okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if Pittsburgh signed him, well, Pittsburgh, they must be good people. You know what? You know what I mean? It's just, it's just, if the Cowboys signed him, well, they're serious this year. Whatever, it's just, there's a stigma that goes along with being a team like Detroit. So
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't sign him. It avoids the headache for everybody because that would it casts a cloud, especially if it doesn't work. It casts a massive cloud over your whole season and how you operate. So I'm glad. I'm actually glad that they didn't sign him. Okay. All right, we're going to shift now. We're going to shift to the wrestling segment of the show, as we normally do here on I'm Always Right. All Elite Wrestling second press conference ticket giveaway rally thingamabobber that they just had. Okay. Some of the biggest news coming out, obviously, Kenny Omega officially signed. He's also another executive vice president. They have like 30 of those now, it seems like.
Hey, they only have 7.
And sets up a match with Jericho, right? Lucha Brothers, Pentagon, and Phoenix are facing the Bucks. That's that
Not
angle.
confirmed, I don't think.
Not confirmed?
But
It's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's going to be confirmed.
So,
probably.
first off, I just want to ask, before we get into some of the backstage stuff, excited for Jericho Omega 2, because that's going to have to be the match that carries in All In 2.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, as a wrestling fan, can you not be excited? I mean,
Right.
you see what they did for the first one, then you have the second one. I mean, like, usually you say sequels aren't as good as the originals,
Yes.
but I like to beg to differ because in wrestling, I actually think sequels can be superior than the originals.
Absolutely.
And so I'm actually quite excited to see what they're going to do, especially because it's on an even bigger stage than their first one. Well, I wouldn't say even bigger.
It's going to have more eyes on it just because it's their first show since the dawn.
Because when you throw Wrestle Kingdom, it's like WrestleMania, but then you're like, oh, it's WrestleMania, whatever. Like, they've had that one WrestleMania. This is like Double or Nothing. It's the first one of this new company. Right. So now you're going to have everyone. It's like All In. Yeah. You know everything that happened in All In, but like Wrestle Kingdom 11, you're like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah. Exactly.
So like, you just had a bigger
for the
punch.
time, but now that it's happened, you're like, okay, and now it's
you need that. Now it's gonna be like the big punch for the second one.
I'm excited for it. I'm interested to see what they're gonna do because we're at a point now with All Elite where I need a TV deal to happen. I desperately need something to be announced because what's happening for me, it's not so much that I'm, that I'm bored. That's not the right word. But what I am is I want. You're signing some of these guys, right? You signed SCU. You got the Bucks. You got Kenny. You got Jericho. You got some great female wrestlers like Britt Baker's coming on. But what you don't have now is and obviously we're not supposed to see this, but I'm ready for the plan. Right, I'm ready for. I mean, All In 2 is going to be awesome, no doubt. Right, I'm sure it'll be great. But once again, if it's just another show with great talent on there, right, that only gets you so far. I need TV. Yeah, I need a TV deal.
Did you hear what Jericho was quoted saying about the TV?
That they have a couple.
Yeah, he said. I'm not going to show up somewhere that doesn't have a Major League TV deal. Right. And so since he's showing up there, it gives me a sense of that.
I don't think it's not coming. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I need an announcement. We're going live on TNT, right? Or we're going on, and that's the thing. It needs to have a major TV, obviously not USA, but they're going to be on NBC or not NBC, but you know what I mean? Some other
TNT or TBS.
If they did that, that's like WCW-esque all times a million, which is crazy. But
ooh, you know what's interesting? What night do you think they'd be on?
Ooh, jeez. If they were, I don't know. Thursday?
You think they go to like Tuesday?
No.
Because SmackDown's moving to Friday.
Yeah, maybe Thursday. I'd say Thursday maybe.
I can see Thursday.
You know what I mean? Like later in the week, because like I as a kid you watch Thursday Night SmackDown. Yeah. And Friday you go to school, you talk about it, or Friday no one does anything on Fridays. So
so
at work or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking maybe I don't know. That's the thing, right? Is where do you go? Because I think if you go Wednesday, you're kind of sandwiched and it's like bleh, so I don't know. That'll be interesting. The time slot, obviously. I said, I just need something other than All In 2. I'm excited for, and I'll watch it, no doubt. But I want to know when that TV deal is happening because that's when you get into the real war, right? Yeah. That's when you get into WWE and all. They're really going. They have a major, not Impact, Spike TV thing,
Pursuit, Twitch.
Right? Pursuit, Twitch, WGN America, what have you, right? No, I want full on. Like TV, 8 o'clock at night, ready to go.
8 to 10.
8 to 10, and they're going to go up against them, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be Monday nights, but man, it'd be awesome.
But it would be awesome.
It's going to be cool.
Nights, let me tell you.
Jeez,
I'd cry.
Yeah. This is too bad. All right.
I turn it off early.
What I have, right? What I have though, and what I want to talk about from that press conference, right, and then from comments afterwards, we find out that Tony Khan, who is like the real backer behind this, right? Yeah. He has final decision making on booking, which is interesting to me. Now the Bucks are going to be booking most of this, right? Yeah. But as far as the final say goes, Tony's going to be like Mr. Khan is going to be the Vince McMahon-ish
that's
person.
Exactly what scares me about it,
right? Right. That's where I kind of went. It made me stop in my tracks a minute there because he's not a wrestling guy. Mm-hmm. He can be a fan. I could book a show, right? May not be logical, may not make sense, may not be long term, but I could book one show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, because he doesn't necessarily have any wrestling experience, good or bad, whatever, that worries me a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because WCW back in the day had a huge problem with their booking and all the amount of bad finishes. That was the biggest critique of WCW. Is every finish had a ref bump. Every finish had an interference. No finish was ever just clean 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring, right? Impact Wrestling had the same problem, right? It was the same formula, right? Where you have Dixie Carter making decisions, and you just like you have these people who are the heads of companies that have no business running a wrestling company, right? Thoughts on Khan getting necessarily final say on some of this booking, because he's not a wrestling guy.
Yeah, that's the scariest part. Is because when you look at like something like WWE, you got someone like Triple H and something coming up with all these great ideas and everything.
Yeah.
And then Vince goes, "No, I want Braun Strowman to win this one."
Right.
And then that's
and it kills it. And that's it. That's final say.
Because
You're done.
you could set this huge like storyline and have everything working for you, and then Vince goes, "No, this is the guy I want to win."
We've seen it right now, right?
Yeah.
He wants Charlotte in the main event.
Yeah.
And everyone else is like, no, you should just be Becky and Ronda. No, Charlotte.
Let's not go too far into it, but that literally makes no sense. How they literally just, Charlotte's going to be in the match. That's like how they put it.
But that's the problem.
It was like the most uncreative way to put someone in a match ever.
No, and I get it. It generates heat. I understand that portion. But besides the point, we're getting off the rails here. But I agree. So that to me was a little intriguing. And now I understand. Because at the end of the day, if he's the one funding this project, then of course, at the end of the day, he should have final say because he's the one who's got the most money invested in it. But
I don't agree with like final say. I could say he like talks to like the Bucks and go, "Hey, what about this idea?"
Right, or I don't like that. That sounds weird, or what have you. Like I don't mind he has a say, but
like
final say is like
Bucks go, "Here, how do you like this?" And he goes, "No, I want this guy to win," and then this guy wins. Because that, I don't want that. Now, if it was like a collaboration of all of them, I would be more okay.
Which is probably
really
what it is. Yeah. But the point being is that just because he has final say, at the end of the day, if there is a disagreement, okay, no, we want Adam Page to be our first champion. No, I want Chris Jericho to be our first champion.
No, I want Punk to be the first champion.
Right. It's those are the kind of situations where you causes a little bit of concern for me. Just because, like I said, he's not a wrestling guy. He's never booked before. I'm not saying go in and drag Kevin Sullivan out of the retirement home and come and book. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, if the Bucks are the one leading creative, then the Bucks should be the one making the call at the end of the day, right? If it's supposed to be that thing, and they're supposed to be the ones doing it. But I digress. So it just makes me a little concerned because it's a non-wrestling guy. Just a little bit scary. Something to keep our eye on, too. I really hope that they stick with the whole clean finish for the most part, right? Don't do a ref bump for the sake of a ref bump. You know, I want solid storytelling within the ring. There's a winner, there's a loser. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're paying for. If you have a really great match and you lose, you don't really lose.
Yeah.
To the fans. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you lose 6 times because of stupid crap, then that's what kills that character. You know what I mean? So that it is what it is. But all right, that's gonna be it for episode what, 12? We're on episode 12 already, guys. Episode 12, part 2. Be sure once again to find us on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, TuneIn Radio, all of our favorite streaming services, as well as YouTube. Just look us up. I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. I am the Mouth of Michigan, Robin Dyka. With me, as always, the Merkso, Mike Merkel.
That's me.
All right, we will see you guys, as always, next week. You know, Mike, I was thinking, I feel incomplete. You know, we just did episode 12, right? And I feel like we're missing something. I feel like
is it Emily?
No, not that. I mean, I do miss her at all.
Oh, okay.
If she's watching, you know, love you. But like, I feel something coming on. Do you feel something coming on?
You know, I'm getting a little tingly.
Are you getting tingly?
Right,
you know what I think it's time for? You know, we're at the end of February. You know, we're feeling lovely after Valentine's Day.
It's been about 3 months of this show.
I'm thinking we need a new segment.
Ooh,
a new segment. What should we call it? I got it.
What you got?
The Merc Zone Mock Draft Corner. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Merc Zone Mock Draft Corner. Now, let me give you guys a quick rundown here for you guys. This is an extra special treat that we're going to be going on basically every week until the actual draft happens, okay? Mm-hmm. Mike is going to give me, all right, he's going to bring up a mock draft from all of those NFL analysts, draft analysts, pundits, whatever you want to call them. He's going to give us a list, right? He's going to run down the first about 10 picks. That includes the Lions, number 8.
Yep.
And then anybody else maybe that's kind of higher on the board. Kylar Murray, you know, Rashawn Gary if he falls out of the top 10, what have you, okay? And we're going to kind of get our genuine reactions about it. If I have a small stroke on the show, What have you? Got something to add?
To edit what I'm going to say edit because that's a lot better way to say it. We're actually going to do 3 rounds.
3 rounds?
And I'm going to bring out, and I'm just going to bring out the big,
the big names?
I'm kind of going through right now, and I'm just going to be like, boom, this is a big name guy. And how do you feel? So,
okay, sounds good. All right. I'm prepared.
Are you feeling good?
I'm scared. Okay. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I don't know how I feel, to be honest with you.
Okay,
can't feel my arms.
So this is all right. So we're gonna start. This guy's name is Chad. Who made this one?
He's from Chad. That's who it is. That's all it is.
Yeah, we're just gonna call him Chad right now.
Okay.
So we love Chad.
All right. Thanks, Chad, for your mock draft. We're about to pick it apart right now.
All right.
Good stuff. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So number 1 overall. Pretty simple.
Okay.
Nick Bosa.
To the Arizona. Okay. Now, before we continue, are there any trades in this mock?
None that I saw, but if there is one, I will bring it up as it happens.
Okay. All right. So Nick Bosa, number 1. Okay, makes sense.
Yep. We're gonna go number 3. The Jets pick Josh Allen, edge rusher.
Okay. All right.
How you feeling?
Give me the top 5, just so I know.
Top 5?
Yeah, give me top 5.
So Quinnen Williams is going to San Francisco. Defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle from Bama, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Makes
Rashad.
Really another D lineman, man. They got a lot of them, but okay. 3rd makes sense. Okay, continue.
Rashad Gary, edge rusher to the Raiders.
Okay, as long as it's not the Lions, I don't care. That's so bad. That's such a Raiders move.
And then
continue.
This one's kind of hit me out of left field.
Yeah.
Alabama running back Josh Jacobs to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
At 5?
At 5.
What?
Yep.
No.
It says,
come on. Stop it.
Yeah.
Shut your face.
Apparently, he thinks that the Bucs are gonna try to get the new David Johnson, and they think it could be Josh Jacobs.
What? Oh my gosh, Bruce! Did Bruce Arians have a stroke? What?
I think he says he had it.
No. Oh come on, really? Like there's I don't disagree. They need a running back. I agree with that, but like at 5?
5.
You had the 5th overall pick. That means you're not good. Like you need more. A running back is a luxury pick in the first.
Yep.
Whatever, dude. It's not the Lions.
Calm down.
Oh,
His heart rate's going already. That's lovely. All right, so we're gonna go number 6. New York Giants are gonna pick Dwayne Haskins.
Okay, that's what I expect. I expect him to be the first quarterback off the board. Makes sense.
Number 7, Jacksonville Jaguars are picking Drew Lock, quarterback out of Missouri.
It seems like a Jaguars pick when you think about it. They like strong arms. They like, for whatever reason, Missouri's got a lot of quarterbacks that come out that everyone likes in the draft. I wouldn't be surprised there, especially if they are going to move on from Bortles. I'm assuming they're going to like him more than Kyler, just as a thought. So I'm not necessarily surprised by that pick.
But I think he kind of.
I think they're going to really hope the Giants muff it up and then Haskins falls to them at 7. To be honest with you, they might try and trade up with the team to go get their guy. That's a high possibility, but interesting nonetheless.
So now we're looking at the Lions, who did not trade their number 8 picks. So
we are staying at 8. Okay,
and we are picking Clemson edge rusher Cleenan Farrell at number 8.
All right. So this is probably going to be a common theme here, but I'm going to get this right away. I don't hate the pick.
Yes.
I don't hate it. All right, but here's my only issue with it.
Okay.
It'd make me a lot happier if it was 16.
I would agree
and not
with that.
Because at that point, I feel like Kyler Murray's still on the board. Okay. No, and let me press it. I don't want the Lions to take Kyler Murray, but what I do want is someone to trade up to go take Kyler Murray at number 8. Right.
Yes.
But if they do stay at 8, edge rusher, depending on what they do in free agency, obviously. He's not the worst pick in the world. I like Montez Sweat better.
Yeah.
I think he's a little more athletic. He played at Mississippi State where he doesn't have a ton of other talent around him. Clemson does, right? They have, and not necessarily wasn't productive, but I just don't think that him at that spot, I don't know. It's like a Carl Lawson pick for me where he looked good on paper. He was productive, but it just for whatever reason he doesn't scream out to me uber athletic, right?
Yeah.
And to be a defensive end in this league now, you have to be extremely athletic. And Ed Oliver's still there too, which makes me really. And is Greedy Williams still on the board?
Yep.
Oh, Greedy Williams is still there too. I feel like that's a dream scenario for the Lions if that's how the board falls. Obviously, Josh Allen's the dream more than likely.
Yeah.
But at the same time.
Odds are
where they're at, I would highly, unless they fall in love with the prospect, I wouldn't be shocked to see them trade down. I know Lions fans say that a lot, but that would probably be if it's going to be that, I might take that corner, honestly.
I think the rest might scare you a little bit, so we're just going to go.
Just give me some,
Denver picks Kyler Murray at number 10.
Okay, yeah. So wait, Wow, really? Even with Flacco? I guess... Yeah. I don't know though, because Flacco's making so much money, so they must have gotten something for Keenum at that point. Then I
think that pick would be looking like I don't think he sits for a year and then plays.
Here's the thing: I don't think if this Flacco experiment doesn't work, I don't think Elway makes it out of the Flacco experience. To be honest with you, you've now missed on like 4 quarterbacks since Peyton. Yeah. Brock was a miss because he didn't re-sign him. Yeah. Right. You missed on Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian, and now Case Keenum, and now Joe Flacco. That's 5. I don't think you get 6 quarterbacks in a regime and get to stay around, even with a Super Bowl win. Yeah.
So we're just going to go down the list here. Greedy Williams goes to the Bengals at 11.
That's a Bengals pick, though, all the way around, right? I think the Bengals would be really bummed out, though, if Kylar Murray was off the board at that point, because they need a quarterback because Dalton's terrible. Yeah.
Montez Sweat is going to the Packers at 12.
That's like the worst thing ever right there. Because I like him, and he goes, and they bolsters their pass rush. That sucks.
It's going to get worse for you. So we're going to go down here. Devin White, LSU junior linebacker, goes to the Panthers.
What pick?
16.
16? Okay. Yeah, okay. Really with Kuechly, though, huh?
Yeah.
I guess with Thomas Davis going to be leaving. Okay, yeah, I guess. But they got Shaq Thompson, too. That's weird. I don't know. I don't get that.
So pick 18, Minnesota picks, and they pick Ed Oliver, defensive tackle out of Houston.
I'm a little surprised by that. They have so much depth. I guess Sheldon Richardson's probably going to leave in free agency, so I get that. But at the same time...
His theory on this one is his lack of size and length will hurt his stock, but this pick is going to be a steal because he's still on the board at 18.
Right. I don't necessarily think that they go defense this year. They always go defense. So, in my mind, I would think maybe go get... I feel like they need, I don't know. I feel like they need something offensive. I don't really know what it is necessarily, but, it wasn't their defense that was the problem. It was their quarterback, but they're stuck with that.
So, is there any other first rounds you want to hear teams? Is there any teams that shoot out at you?
Not really. Tell me who the Bears pick, just because they're our division rival. Do they go defense again? I wouldn't be surprised to see them go get another weapon for Trubisky. Wouldn't be shocked. What are they, 20-something?
Yeah. The Bears... don't have a first-round pick.
Oh, yeah, duh. That's right.
Because
give me that Raiders pick then where they
picked DeAndre Baker, cornerback out of Georgia.
Okay, all right. Where did the Penn State corner go anywhere in that first round? You know who I'm talking about? I can't remember his name. His name is escaping me right now. But
he currently is still on the board.
He's still on the board of the first round? Okay, give me the Lions. Give me the Lions' second-round pick.
Okay. So we're going to head over to...
This is going to be a tight end, but I could be wrong.
It's not a tight end.
It's not a tight end?
I can kind of...
Wow, they must have signed all the tight ends in free agency.
Okay. Big name, guys. So Devin Bush goes to the Niners in the second round, early second round.
That's that's really high.
36 pick.
Good for him.
So they have him going there.
It wouldn't surprise me because now they're missing out on numbnuts from Alabama. So
we have second round pick. Here it is. Out of Ohio State. Senior wide receiver Paris Campbell. Campbell will be a nice foil for Kenny Galladay, is what.
That's some deep analysis.
That's some deep thought we put in that one.
I can see it. I'm glad they don't go wide receiver round 1. I need playmakers, right? We talked about it on the episode. I need playmakers. So if he's a playmaker and he's somebody, I'm assuming he's a slot guy, right? Because Marvin's going to be on the outside, so he's got to be in the slot. So, yes, but
I think he's one of
who's off on the board. Anybody big defensively on the board at that point? Because you could probably take that corner from Penn.
I was going to say, if you want to look at it, so we would pick him at 43 in the second round. Mm-hmm. The corner you're talking about, Amani, you know his face.
Right.
He's drafted 54th
Okay.
To the Texans.
Okay. Yeah, I like him. Like, I know we haven't had the best run with second-round corners, Mr. T's Tabor, but yeah, these mock drafts are hard for me right now, especially just because we don't know what their plan is in free agency. But like I said, they're just going to need to hit on playmakers. That's the big thing. It's playmaker, big play guys. So, I mean, if that's going to be the case, give me their third-round selection just to see what position they go with.
Okay, so heading to the third round. Oh, and Chase Winovich goes to the Patriots in the end of the second round. That's a total
Patriots move. An undersized guy does one thing really well with a high motor. Mm-hmm. If some better technique is taught there, I think that's a great pick for the Patriots.
Wow, look at this. So the Patriots pick 73rd in the third round. Right. They pick NC State quarterback Ryan Finley.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they're going to do another Garoppolo thing, but instead of the second to third round, and have another guy to trade away in 4 years when Brady's still playing at the age of ripe old age of 74 years old.
Okay, so Lions pick in the third round. This would be pick number 88.
Right, because they got the Philadelphia pick. So I'll just remind everybody, right? New England gets our pick earlier on because of Deshaun Hand,
and that's the quarterback that they used.
And no one's complaining about Deshaun Hand. And so they're picking later on. This is the Golden Tate trade for everybody who they don't.
So this guy is out of the school of Washburn.
Okay.
He's a senior, and his name is Corey Ballantyne, cornerback.
He's got measurables, height, weight, or anything like that.
I can look, not currently.
Yeah, I don't know. Smaller school guy, clearly, but. Yeah, see, the second and third round for me is where the draft gets fun because it's like you make all the hubbub about the first round and everybody, these first round talents, and there's always inevitably 5 to 7 guys that fall out of the first round that everybody thought was going to go in the first, goes in the second, right?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting for me because those are the drafts, those are the picks that I feel like you need to hit on as a GM because without them, like you can hit on every one of your first round picks. But it doesn't mean anything if the rest of your draft is terrible. You know what I mean? Unless obviously you find a quarterback. So they went defensive end, wide receiver, corner.
Yes, in the first 3 rounds.
Okay. Wouldn't shock me necessarily. I'm surprised tight end isn't in there. I'm gonna be honest with you, just because. Unless they go and do something crazy in free agency or make a trade. But looking at their roster right now, even if they re-signed Toilolo, who was Pro Football Focus's best blocking tight end, I don't necessarily think that tight end is going to be such little of a need at that point where the value doesn't equal the pick.
So Ballantyne, if you want to know, is 6 feet flat, 204 pounds, and he appeared in 46 games and recorded 186 tackles and 5 interceptions.
Okay. Yeah.
For Washburn.
The big thing for me on the cornerback position, that's why I like the Penn State guy, because he's got a lot of picks in his career. Because Nevin Lawson is allergic to interceptions. I don't know if you guys know that, but 0 career interceptions as a Detroit Lion. So that means 0 career interceptions
ever.
Period. So yeah, clearly allergic to the football in that regard. So wouldn't surprise me. I'm interested though. I'm interested as we go down this path every week now. Because I feel like this will definitely be something fun for us to do and something to really see how the mocks change, especially after the combine. So that was fun. I didn't have necessarily a heart attack.
Yeah, I felt a little bit in that first round.
I know you're going to come up with a couple weeks from now. There's going to be some crazy draft where we take Rashawn Gary, and I'm going to cry. So
well, I mean, there was one that we took tight end.
Not even tell me. I'm happy this week. All right, so yeah, Brett. Well, obviously, guys, like I said, we're going to be doing this every week now on until the draft. So it should be a fun time for us to see where we'll kind of do some polls. We'll kind of do some statistics as far as what guys projected the most to the Lions and all that good stuff. Once again, thanks for listening, and we will see you guys, as always, next week.